Hello viewers, this is Leva Buhay. This is an update of my plants, tomatoes and different plants growing in my garden. So here are my tomatoes. Actually they are growing very nice. This kind of tomato are the big ones. It can grow up to 3 meters like that. And I just love tomatoes because it's not only that they are nutritious, but I find them delicious. So from time to time I can just come out in the garden, pick a tomato and eat it like eating fruits. This one is my pumato. So as you see, as what I've said in my other videos before, pumato is a grafted tomato into a potato. So as you see here, you have there a potato under, but then here I had grafted. Here is the graft. I have to take this out because I think it's taking already. So I take this tape and it's like that. So it will be growing. The tomato will be bearing fruits and the potato will multiply there under. So in this corner I have this. I usually plant them like in any part of my garden because it's quite big here. It's like this area is around 2,400 square meter and I plant everywhere. I just want to like go around, and then I have my plants everywhere. In this summer I was actually not able to take care of all of them. It's because I am very busy. That one there up, it's actually, we call it here apartments actually. So it's a 2-story, but it's a building where I think it's 2 families living in there. So I have it here, my other plants. There I have more tomatoes. So I kind of everywhere I plant. So as you see, this Soya, we call it Soya. It's like pine trees. I plant them in containers is because they are ready for my landscaping. So when I do my landscape, I already have all the plants available. So when I bought them, they are so small and now they're quite big. So I plant them in different containers available here. I don't buy containers, pots for them because pots are expensive, and anyway I just throw them after. So I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them growing there, and they are ready for transplant in my garden. So here I have more of those Soya. I don't know how the other countries call it, but in Sweden we call it Toya, but Soya. And it's kind of what I said. It's kind of, so people might think why I'm planting it that way, very near each other, and I have like 20 pieces of them. But as what I said, I usually do it. I bought them and they are only like, you know, one foot, and now they're more like 3 feet, and then they're ready also for me to plant in my garden when I do my final landscaping. Because if you buy them they are already big, they are not cheap, they are expensive. So what I do, it's like 5 years ago I bought them. They are too small and now they are really big. So that's what I do, and it's kind of a very good tips for you people if you are planning, you know, to remake your garden, update your garden. You buy plants that are small and then plant it temporarily on one area, or the best this before I transplant them on another area. I have to plant them first on containers. So I usually have a lot of containers where I plant them, so they are ready, and they will be, you know, rooting a lot first. I let them rest first in a container before I plant them on my final landscaping. So as you see, it's a raspberry growing here. We have a lot of raspberry here in Sweden, actually, in my area. And as what you see here, this is actually a pine tree, and I planted it there. This plant, it's called ronbär. It's like a berry, and usually I plant it. So every time I see them growing anywhere, I just, you know, plant them in some kind of container or whatever pots I will see, and then they are ready for me to plant in my garden. So that's how I do. And there is another neighbor of us. So here is another part. This is a salvia. This is a very nice aromatic herb that I have here, and all of these are actually ready for transfer. So I have actually all of these plants here, but they are just a temporary place. I have to transfer them later. So as you see, it's like that. So my place, as you see, if you look at around, it looks like I'm living in a countryside, but not. I am very near the capital city of Sweden, which is Stockholm. It's just like, you know, you drive for like 25 minutes and you are in the city. Well, in fact, I'm even working in the city. So it looks like I'm in a countryside, but most of the areas here in Sweden are actually like this. People loves the forest. So as you see, it's like that. So just in front of our house is a nature reserve. In the middle of that forest, actually is a lake. I think most of my friends here in Sweden, in YouTube, have already seen it. So I will see. And this is another part, which is actually on the, quite on the, you know, front side. It's another garden. So as you see, I have my gardening like at the back, in front. I usually mix up my plants. So we will take a look also there. Here are my cucumbers, and they are having fruits now. So I will be picking up today. This kind of cucumber I really like. It's another sort of cucumber because they are very crispy. They are very crispy. So there are a lot of cucumber here in Sweden, and there's another one. And here's another one here, and this is actually the biggest here, as you see. And it's coming a lot more. This is the small lemons, or we call it calamansi in my country, and they are also bearing flowers. It's a lot of flowers. So as you see, I usually have cucumbers every summer because my kids, they love cucumbers. They love eating it. They can just, you know, one kid can just have one of these cucumbers and they just love eating it. Here is my potato, and they are actually, I think they are ready for harvest. I think you can actually see, yeah, look, it's actually a lot there already. I will cover it because if I don't cover it and they will be exposed to the sun, they will turn green, and you will never eat a green potato. Never cook green potatoes because it's not good. It's kind of poison on it. So if the potato turn green, you have to take it out, the ones that are green. You only eat or cook the ones that are not turning green. So I have it here. And here is more tomatoes. Here I have my haricot, or these string beans. And these two here, I will just leave it because I want it to be matured. and I want to use it as seeds. I want to use the seeds of it. Here I have some, and I will pick them now because I'm planning to make some you know, noodles, how do you say it, and I can put this. I had picked also yesterday like 10 pieces of them, so they are really flowering, these, you know, tomatoes. So as you see, and I pity my plants because this summer I was not able to take care of them, you know, like I planted them and they were there. I was so busy because I have a lot of things to do in our house. We had been, you know, doing some changes. Here are more tomatoes. So sometimes I planted them, and then there were a lot of days that they were dry, and I was not able, you know, to just take care of them, because plants, they really want that every day, you, as much as possible every day, or every other day, you are there and you take care of them. And here I have my squash. Here we call this zucchini. It's starting to flower. Here I have this mint growing everywhere, and there I have more tomatoes. So it's more of my tomato there. I really just love tomatoes. And the thing with tomatoes is you don't have to take care of them a lot. You just, you know, you plant them as long as they can have water, and they are very thankful for it. And so as you see, these tomatoes are just growing very nice. And here I have another kind of tomatoes. I just love collecting different types of tomatoes, and I just find it very nice to see different how do you say it, different form. So I have a lot of varieties of tomatoes. I will show more. It's coming more of my tomatoes that are really growing. And as you see here, it's an apple tree that I grafted myself. This apple tree is like 3 years old since I grafted it, and it's growing very well. It feels so good when you graft yourself trees and then they grow so well. So that it's like that. So here it is. Isn't it nice? It's like a countryside, but then you are in Stockholm. You are in the Stockholm lane. So it's like that. And there, I'm just so busy. It's a lot of things to be done, and I'm going around and show you all my plants everywhere here. I have them everywhere. My landscaping is not yet finalized, because it's like that. If you do the final landscaping, you want it to be right, and so I don't want to be just, you know. So now my plants are just everywhere, and then I will just plant them, transfer them.